So good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, actually. Thanks for joining us. July 8th today, and we're discussing Chinese classifications for Taiwan in Alma Analytics. Throughout this presentation, I have here a PowerPoint. We're also going to be showing live in a real Alma environment. And throughout the presentation, we will also periodically stop in order for Alicia to do a simultaneous translation to Chinese. So I'll be speaking in English, I'll be stopping periodically, and Alicia will then speak in Chinese. If you want to ask a question, you can ask me in English, or you can ask Alicia in Chinese, and Alicia will then do the translation. Alicia, do you want us already start now and say what I just said to them in Chinese?
Sure, no problem. 各位，谢谢今天大家来参加这个线上的 webinar。那等一下会Yoel 会直接做线上的展示，然后播一些投影片的说明。那么之后他会在适当的时候停留下来，请我做一些及时的翻译。那如果有任何问题的话，可以用中文在对话窗上面。或者是直接用英文问都可以，直接跟我们。Please, Yoel.
Okay, so before we start looking at the actual PowerPoint and making reports, etc., on a very basic level, in all of the subject areas now, we've added a new dimension, a shared dimension. I can open any of these subject areas, for example, fulfillment, and a new shared dimension under other classifications is other classifications Taiwan, Chinese classifications Taiwan, and it's broken down into 3 levels in both Chinese and English, and that's in all of the subject areas. Before we look at the analytics reports, let's stop a moment and see how is that created. So, this we just saw. This is the new shared folder. When we say shared folder, we mean that it appears in multiple subject areas. And it comes from any record which has a 084 with a subfield 2 with a value NCSCLT, National Chinese Classification Libraries, Taiwan. Now, let's just look at an example and then we'll start getting into it. I'll stop in a moment for Alicia, but let me first take a look. If we go now into, for example, this record, just as an example, we look at this record, this title. So I switch over to Alma and I look for this title. All titles, title, and title, T-I-T, title, boom. Let's take a look there, and this will be an example. So here we have a title, and if we look at this record, we see that it has a 084 subfield A with a value, and then subfield 2 with the NCSLT. Only records that have a 084 with subfield A, NCSCLT will be included in the Chinese classifications Taiwan. Go ahead, Alicia.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
各位大家好，所以刚刚Yoel其实在说明的就是他先到我们 Alma 的 Analytics 的画面，说明了一下它大概的一个设计概念。那原则上呢，现在我们今天要说明的这个新的这种分类呢，它是放在 Other Classification 里面的，你可以在那个投影片上面看到的 Chinese Classification 里面后面有台湾的那一个。那它目前放在一种分享的档案夹。那这个分享的档案夹的概念就是指 它在多种不同的 subject 都可以被使用到。那原则上呢，它在投影片上刚刚有提到，就是会用到这种分类的话，你必须在你的084段的分栏要有分栏 A， 那同时分栏2里面要有一个 NCSLT 的这样子一个字串，你才能够使用到这样子的一个分类的功能。所以他刚刚又回到了 Alma 的主画面，去搜寻了今天这一本书这个范例图书馆管理涵盖要的这本书之后，有看到它的书目资料里面确实有一个分栏084段有个分栏2有 NCSLT， 那这样子的书就会被纳到我们今天会统计到的目标。I'm done. Please continue, Yoel.
Now, how does it know what classification to give it? For example, if it's a 022, how do we know if that's medicine or science or library science or maybe Taipei? So we have a table here. And the table here was supplied to us by National Taiwan University. And that's how we get the value of each Chinese classification Taiwan. So let's go take a look at this. There's a link here, and I've got the full URL here in case for whatever reason the link isn't working for somebody. So let's take a look here and open it up. So this is the table we used in order to give a value for each of the numbers which is in the 084 subfield A. For example, if we look at our record now, the record we've been looking at, we have a 084 subfield A with 022.022. So that means if we go back to here, it's going to have classification 1, group 1, with this value. Because it's 022, it starts with a 0. Group 1 is the first digit. 022 is going to be this one here, the generalities with this. The group 2 will come from here, the first 2 digits, and it will have this value for group 2 in Chinese and this value in group 2 in English. And for group 3, it will come from the 022, all 3 digits, which will be here, 022. Library management. It will have this value in Chinese and this value in English. Go ahead, Alicia.
所以在我们刚刚看到的这个图书馆管理概要的这一本书的范例里面，它的那个内号是022。那怎么看呢？其实我们这时候这边它连接的这个网址，大家到时候也都可以连接得到。我们要感谢台湾大学协助提供这个表格。那这个表格基本上有3大群组的话，就是第一分类，在这个号码的3码里面的第1码代表的是什么？这边我们同时有中文与英文的它的那个内容都在这里。所以这个就是我们今天会讲的这个内容的主要都是根据在这个表格上面。Please, Yoel.
Okay, so let's take a look at this example now. This is MMSID this. I'm going to copy that MMSID, and in analytics, I'll say new analysis. And I know this record has a physical item. So I'll look in the physical item subject area. It might also be in the fulfillment subject area, but I don't know offhand if it has a loan. And I'll say I want the MMS ID, and I'll filter by that MMS ID. And then we'll also give it the Chinese classifications Taiwan. So I'll go to other classifications, Chinese classifications Taiwan, and I'm going to give it all of these values. And while we're here, I'll also put in the title, bibliographic details and title. Okay, so let's take a look. we should see here the values that we saw in the Excel sheet for 022. So we have generalities, library and information science archive management, library management for 022. How did that happen? Again, if we look here, 022, group 1, 0 is this value in generalities, and that's what we have. This value in generalities. For the second value, excuse me, we have 022. I'm going to group 2, 02. So we have this and library and information science archive management. And here we are, group 2. And then we have this and library management for group 3. If we look here at group 3 for 022, here it is, library management and this. I'm going to do one more example, and this time I'm going to go the opposite way. Instead of starting with what we already know we have in Alma, I'm going to start with what we have in analytics and then look, how did we get it? I'm going to go the opposite way. So I'll come in to analytics and I'll remove the filter of the MMSID, remove this filter, and instead I'll filter by one of these group 3s. And let's look for something here. I'll say contains. Nothing. Okay. Let's take anything. I'll take religious ethics moral. Now, by the way, we might not have anything. That's the full list of possibilities. It doesn't mean we have, but we do have. So these all have sciences, science of religion, religious ethics, moral. And it says classification code 212. Randomly, I'm going to choose any of them just so we got anything. I'll check this one here. If we go look at this now in Alma, back to Alma, MMSID. And we'll look at the 084. So it has a 084 with 212, and it has the National Chinese Classification Libraries Taiwan, NCSCLT, with a 212. If we look at the 212 here now, group 1 is religion here, and then 21 is science of religion, and 212 is religious ethics moral. We go to analytics, and that's what we've got. Sciences, science of religion, religious ethics moral, which is exactly what we saw here. Go ahead, Alicia.
我们刚刚有提了2大部分，一个是他从 Alma 里面拿出了我们范例的这一本书，那他拿出了他 MMS， 他拿了他的 MMSID。
in Taiwan.
Excuse me。好，我们继续。然后就是说，他从那个Alma 里面取得了这一个书。Excuse me, someone should mute your.
Mute everybody except for you, Alicia.
Thank you. 那我再继续哦。这是从那个拿出他 MMSID 之后，我们到。Can you hear me?
Yes, I muted everybody and unmuted you. Go ahead. Okay. We hear you.
那不好意思哦，大家。那在拿到这 MMSID 之后，我们到 Analytics 的这个地方去跑这 这一笔 MMSID 的资料。那我们如果套用刚刚那一个我们中国图书分类法的这种分类的话，你可以清楚的看到，在它的结果页里面就可以直接看到这一本就是这本范例书的它的各种它3层的这种分类法的那个各种的字都有拉进这样子。那在另外一面的话，我们再回头看，如果我们从 Analytics 地方呢去过滤比如说所有的我们刚刚用的是实体物件，所有的实体物件里面呢，如果它有包含宗教伦理道德这样子的一个类型的书，我们想要把它捞出来也是可以的。所以他刚刚后来又透过这样一个方法，把所有实体物件里面在这个类型的全部都过滤出来，然后我们得到了一个就是得到了一个报告。那我们再把这样子的报告回头去看，去查 Alma 的时候，会发现对这本书在 Alma 里面的确，它在它的那个842吧，842芬兰2，它就确实是有我们需要的那一串 NCS 那一个。那所以其实我们重点在于，就是说我们希望透过这样子一个方式，你会看到它其实是3大段，我们都有完全现在我们拿到的这个表单的3层。Yoel, it's your turn.
Okay, so let's look now that we know how it all works, let's go look at some actual examples of reports. So I've created several reports already. They're under shared, community, reports, regional user groups, Taiwan. Let's take a look. So I'll do catalog. And it's in the community right now. Reports and regional user groups, Taiwan, and here's reports. So the full path is here, and this presentation you all have, or I'll send you the link right now. So you've got the full link here, and you can use these reports. You can make your own reports. You can add reports here if you'd like. This is the community folder. You can all do whatever you'd like. You can copy them to your own folder as well, to your institutional folder, so they'll be yours and only yours. And now I'll send you the link to that file, to this whole presentation. It's on our Analytics Presentations and Documents page here. I'll send this link to everybody in the chat, so everybody will have it. Chat. And if anybody is watching the video and didn't have the opportunity to see this live, it's under Alma Training, Extended Training, Presentations and Documents Analytics. And we have here a section. Oops, sorry about that. I thought I was here. We have a section here for Chinese classifications Taiwan. This is the Excel sheet we saw a moment ago. And this is the presentation. Copy link location. So now everybody has the page where it is and the link to the presentation. So you'll have in the presentation a reference to this folder. So let's go look at these reports now. Alicia, go ahead, because now I'm going to get into the reports. So I'll stop here so you can explain that we've got these in the community folder for them.
所以Yoel其实针对我们这一次的需求，它设计了一些报表。那目前放的路径，大家可以看到这个画面上最上面那个 location 部分放的路径。所以如果大家有需要的话，可以直接到这个路径上面把这样子一个报表回去到自己的环境去使用也可以的。那另外今天的这个所使用的刚刚看到的那个分类表，跟我们今天所使用的这个投影片，它都放在另外一个录音，那就是在我们的聊天框里面。那请大家如果对话视窗里面，如果你们有兴趣的话，可以把它存下来。那如果大家未来是在看录影档的，你也可以记一下我们刚刚画面上，它放在Yoel, can you go back to the presentation documents page so that they can take a look at the past? Yes.
I'll go to the top here so you can see it.
Thank you. 所以我们今天所使用的投影片，在刚刚下面那个台湾的部分，就是针对这个中国图书分类法，有的文件就放在这一块了。那有兴趣的话，大家也可以直接就上网下载。I'm done. Thank you, Yoel.
Okay, so all of these reports, we'll look at how they're made, but also they're in a dashboard. I've created a dashboard that uses all of those reports, and let's do open. So these are ways that an institution can see the makeup, excuse me, with these extra windows opening up. One moment. Okay. So institution can see what do they have in their collection. Let me just get rid of this extra window here. And okay. So here we see, for example, that there's an institution where the vast majority of the collection is social sciences. Social sciences is by far the largest, followed by linguistics, applied sciences. This is in the titles subject area. So this does not matter what kind of inventory the record has. It's everything, physical, electronic, and also it might not have any inventory. I'm going to show now how that's made. I'm opening, I got another browser here. We'll look at the report. So we'll see how it's made. So again, we'll go to community, reports, regional user groups, Taiwan, and we're looking now at the titles breakdown, number of titles per Chinese classifications, and in the edit, we'll see how it's made. So, criteria. The only thing it does is it filters out anything with a group 1 unknown. One of the group 1s is called unknown. Let me see what that is in Chinese so you'll all have it. Unknown. You know what? I'll display the unknown so you'll know what it is. Anything that doesn't have, anything that doesn't have a 084 subfield A is unknown. So I'm going to change this, and I'm going to, just so you can see what is unknown, is equal to unknown, but normally I'm filtering it out. And I'll put the MMS ID there. Just so we have an example of what is an unknown. But I'll tell you while it's retrieving them, unknown is anything that doesn't have a 084 subfield A and therefore wouldn't be included in here. Anything that's in here, like we said at the beginning, has a 084 with a subfield A with a value NCSLT. We'll continue and then we'll go look at the unknown. So we keep a flow going. Then we have the same thing, but only for physical items. So now we want to know, what do I have in my institution that has physical items? Again, social sciences is the largest. But we see when we go to electronic portfolios, it's not such an even breakdown. The largest is applied sciences. Now I'm looking only at electronic portfolios. The applied sciences is the largest, but when we looked at physical items, I'm switching. Social sciences is the highest. Applied sciences is the third. So there's a difference of my collection regarding electronic portfolios and regarding physical items. For the titles altogether, social sciences is still the highest. So applied sciences altogether is third as far as size goes, but it's first for the electronic portfolios. It's way higher than all the others. Okay. Alicia, you want to stop now and explain what I just said about these first 3 tabs?
Okay, I'll just make a quick translation.
I can explain it here also, actually. Maybe I'll explain it here as well because I have examples here written. The first one we looked at is all of the titles, regardless of the type of inventory. So you can get an accurate picture of the makeup of the collection. The second one we looked at is only for physical items. And we saw social sciences is the highest, applied sciences is the third. And then we looked at electronic portfolios and applied sciences is the highest. Okay, go ahead.
其实刚刚这个范例，Yoel除了现场操作之外，它也都有把它贴到同一片上面的。那原则上就是说，除了我们设计的一些报表之外呢，它还做了一个针对这个中国图书分类法的一个仪表板。所以点进去之后，你就可以直接看自己的机构里面的各种分类的一个状况。那现在画面停留的地方，就是它的那个电子资源的收入清单里面，可能是应用科学类是最多的。Can you go up to the previous slide?
Yes. This one, physical items?
Yes, physical. Thank you. 那像这一张呢，就是在纸本的收入的里面，它可能就是会科学最多了。Can you go to the previous one again? Yes. 那像这个呢，就是第一个种类，它就是把所有的纸本、电子还有数位的资源全部都包含在一起。那不管它的那个类型，它是哪种类型，我们都把它放在这一个分类，所以它数字都会略有不同。那刚刚在仪表板刚在设计那个报表的部分，有一个地方，他说他其实只有加了一个条件，就是那个过滤条件，只要你在084段没有的那个 NCSLT 里面是没有资料的话，它其实基本上就不放进来了。I'm done. Thank you, Yoel.
Okay, so that covers in our dashboard the first 3, which give us a picture of the collection. Then we want to know not only what do we have in our collection, but how is the collection being used? And therefore, we can look at the loans. So the first we'll look at the reports, then we'll go look at how they're made. The first one shows in the last 365 days, so from today, a year back, what are the general areas of loans? How are these items being used? For example, here's an important thing. Linguistics and literature is the highest subject that gets loaned in my institution. However, if I look at my physical items, linguistics and literature is second. I have the most I have is social sciences, but when I look at the loans are most linguistics and social sciences is second. It might tell me that I want to change, perhaps there's a lot of factors, but perhaps I want to change my collection development policy to acquire more things in linguistics and literature. That's a very popular topic. Then we have the same thing for group 3. Group 3 is a much more specific level. Motion pictures. Motion pictures and movies is the most popular. Let's take a look. We'll look in a moment. Motion pictures, movies. What is the group 1 and group 3 of it? Then we have here all of it. Loans group 1 through group 3. So I can see here it is. Motion pictures, movies is the highest. As far as a group 3. Arts, theater, motion pictures, movies. So I can see what materials are being used. That's these 3 tabs. And in these 3 tabs, I see what do I have in my collection. So I see what do I have versus what's being used. A nice way to see which way should I direct my collection management, my collection development policy. let's go see how are those being used. I'll come here and I'll say new analysis. No, I'll say catalog. And we'll go look at these. All right, so these are the ones we looked at, the number of loans. And these number of loans, it's very simply saying the loan date filter is in the last 365 days, and the group 1 English is not unknown. We'll still go look at the unknown in a moment, but I'm saying it was loaned in the last 365 days. They're under the loan date. There's a field called loan date filter. And we're saying, where's the loan date filter? We're saying filter is equal to or is in last 365 days. I might be interested entirely everything that's ever been loaned, but then I'm going way back. I might want to say only in the last 30 days. All of these you can change. But by default, the reports that I made are looking for the last year. Because usually you want to get a full year, the period before there's tests, the end of the semester, beginning of the semester, etc. So now I'm looking at only the last 30 days, and it looks the same actually. Linguistics and literature, social science are still on the top. The numbers, of course, are less. So that's the first report. Then we had group 3, which is the same as the report of group 1. It merely displays the group 3 instead of the group 1. Same filters, but it displays only group 3. And then we have the report of all 3 of them, group 1 to 3, and it displays all 3 of them. All 3. So Alicia, and let me show you the presentation that's also in here. So now we're looking at the loans. This is what we saw, what topics are most being used. Group 1, and then group 3. Group 3, I didn't also make a graph because it's so large. There's a lot of group 3s, and group 1 through 3. So we can really drill down and see the specifics. Go ahead, Alicia.
所以其实我刚前一段翻译的时候，那个仪表板的前面3个其实就是看馆的量嘛，那后面这3个有在提的，其实就是看它馆藏使用量。所以其实可以看到的，好，就是他刚刚就是说，他这边的范例，现在我们停留这个画面，其实他制作那个仪表板里面的那报表的方式，所以其实他也没有放太多的筛选条件，它也是一样，只要你没有084段的，然后你把那个 groups 的显示，像它那个图表有一个是只有显示第1层，有的只显示第3层，去选择你要显示哪一层就好了。然后，那我们再帮他做个排序，把最常用的放最上面。那你可以刚刚看到，就是说，可能我们馆藏量最高的是在社会科学类吧，但我们使用量最高的可能是在语言学类。那这个可能就是各馆可以去斟酌一下，会不会因为这样的一个使用情况，馆藏发展政策这样。I think I'm done, Yoel.
Okay. All right. So now we have another one, funds expenditures. I'm going to go back into analytics here just to refresh it. I'm going to do a little search here, all titles, just to keep things live. Okay. And analytics. Save as. Why am I getting a save as? Analytics, design analytics. Okay, let me try that somewhere else. Catalog. Okay, so now let's go back into the dashboards. Open. Okay, funds expenditure. So now we want to see how much of our expenditures are we spending on which areas? How much money are we spending per subject, to put it plainly? Let's see how this one's made, and then we'll come back and look at it. So we'll go to catalog, to the reports and we'll edit. So first of all, we're in the funds expenditure subject area. And we're saying we're displaying the transaction expenditure amount. So we came here and we displayed transaction expenditure amount here, displaying it, sorting it descending. So we have the highest on top. And then we're displaying the group 1 Chinese and the group 1 English. And again, we're saying it's not unknown. It has a 084 subfield A with NCS and CLT and the subfield 2. In the fiscal period, we're filtering by previous fiscal year. Here inside the fiscal period filter, fiscal period, we have a filter, and in the filter, we filtered by is equal to previous fiscal year. We could have said the current fiscal year, 2 fiscal years ago. We could have done entirely how much have we ever spent per subject. And then we got our results here, results. And that's what we saw inside the dashboard. We'll go back and look at it in the dashboard again. So dashboards, open, last tab, here we go. And of course we could edit this. I'm going to edit this dashboard. And perhaps we want something even more specific to know how are we spending our money. I'm going to get rid of the graph. Maybe I want also to put in here, for example, level 2. And then I can drill in even more. Drilling in level 2 even more. We'll let that load. And now we're going even more in depth. Let's put in the group 2 English as well, just so I can see what's happening. And here we go. Now this is interesting. The arts seem to be a popular one. We're spending a lot of money on the arts. And if you recall, when we looked at the group 1, 2, and 3 loans, the arts was also on the top. So that's good. We're spending money on what's really being loaned. Okay, Alicia, I'm going to leave it to you to explain. Just, Alicia, the main point here of this dashboard, of all of these reports together, I'll say it here and then you can make sure you include it in your explanation, is first, we're looking at what do I have in my collection. Then we're looking at what's being used in my collection. And then we're looking at how much am I spending on my collection. Go ahead, Alicia.
OK， 所以画面停留在这个地方，其实要再次重申哦，就是在这一个我们的这个仪表板上面的前面3个一样，就是我的馆藏量，后面3个是我们的使用量，最后一个就是我们的钱到底都花在哪一种类型资料了。所以这个其实是协助大家去做一些进一步的分析。那刚刚回到他刚刚在 Analytics 的地方，其实再次介绍一下怎么样拉这个报表的。那其实只是比较特别一下，他拉的是哪一些栏位，如果大家后续要调整的话，可以参考一下。那他是抓已经交易的一些金额。那抓的时间也是上一个财务年度，那大家都可以再针对这些参数进行其他的调整。Yoel, I'm done.
Oh, that was a quick one.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions, Alicia?
I don't see any question from the chat box. Do you want to unmute? Or can they unmute themselves?
Yes, they can unmute themselves and ask a question. Or they can write it on the chat. And okay, someone asks a question. Does these Chinese classification table have something to do with 852 indicator? No, it has nothing to do with an 852. The only requirement to have these Chinese classifications Taiwan is that there's a 084 with a subfield 2. Which has NCS CLT. Other than that, there's no requirements. It doesn't even need to have any items, any physical inventory. It can be just a bibliographic record with nothing in it. The only thing it needs, as we saw at the beginning, and we'll look again right now, is that it has the 084 in the bibliographic record with a subfield 2 like this.
所以大家可以看到，其实现在有画面停留的地方，084段的芬兰2一定要有这个词，这是唯一的要求，要使用这个报表唯一的要求。然后其他的我们都没有关系。
And I want to point out now what I kept saying before, that we'll look at the unknown. So this is an example of one which is unknown. This is what unknown is in Chinese. Now, if we look at this example in Alma, it should be that it doesn't have a 084 with a subfield 2, NCSCLT, and therefore we don't know what Chinese classification to give it. So let's go take a look. I'll look by MMSID. And great, there's no 084. So therefore, here it gets value unknown because it doesn't fit anywhere in here. All of these values assume from the beginning it has a 084 with a subfield 2 NCSCLT.
所以可以看到，像刚刚 ，Can you go back to Alma Stream?
Yes.
所以可以看到刚刚的这笔资料，其实它就是因为它的084段里面并没有我们要的资料，所以其实在我们统计报表跑出来的时候，它就是一个 unknown 的状态。所以这一笔资料是很明显，它没有084段。也但，请问大家还有其他问题吗？如果有问题的话，可以直接把自己取消静音，直接用中文或英文询问都可以。
Any other questions or comments from anybody, Alicia?
I just asked if they have any more questions. They can unmute themselves.
Okay. All right, so if there's no more questions or comments, we can end here.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right, and I'll send out the recording to everybody. And thanks everybody for joining. And Alicia, thanks for your simultaneously translation. Have a nice day, everybody.
Thank you, Yoel. Bye-bye.